got 25 minutes. We gotta go. Hey, yo.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy day. I gotta get this lighting thing situated.
There's
guys,
the
bear
camel.
with me. Happy
Well,
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. You guys know I'm normally excited, and it looks like I'm kind of bouncing with excitement. It is true. You've picked up on something. I am sitting on what is it, like a 3-foot exercise
Sitting on
ball.
a ball, folks. She is sitting on a ball.
Which I highly recommend. It's so much fun. It's way more fun than sitting on a chair.
I can attest to that. I'm jealous over here. What is going on? Say that nation. Happy Wednesday. What's going on, Jeannie? Happy Wednesday to you.
If this is your first time tuning into our channel, welcome. We're so excited to have you with us. So what we do here is we are really, really interested in talking about the people's come up of success in business, right? So we all know that like people start with nothing and then they have this massive success, but like what happens in the middle, right? What happens during that ugly come up? Well, we are unapologetic about talking about that ugly come up time during people's entrepreneurial lives. And we're really excited to talk about all of those topics. We have 25 minutes to answer the topic of the day. And then anytime we have a guest, we go into overtime, and all of our lovely Patreon members on overtime get access to even a deeper dive with our guests. So that is how the show runs. We're excited to have you with us today, as it's Winston and I, no guests, but we're really excited to get into today's topic.
Absolutely. And guys, just so you know, when you become a Patreon member, depending on the level of membership that you decide, you actually have the opportunity to be one of the people who chooses the questions that Janelle and I or one of our many guests dive into. We have a brand new series that's going to be coming to you guys really, really, really soon that we're incredibly excited about. And it's because of our Patreon community members that you're going to be seeing the guests, the questions, all of that comes from them. So thank you guys. And if you have not yet, guys, joined our community, you can definitely do that. The link is in the description box below. And guys, also, if you have not yet clicked that subscribe button, you are missing out, man. You want to know exactly when we're going to be live, so click that subscribe button. Make sure you share the content if you find value. Go back and check out one of our older episodes that you'll see that if there's something that resonates with you guys, share that as well. It helps YouTube and the people who do all the tracking and numbers get our content out there, and we just want to grow and help have this platform grow to help others. So now that that's all out the way, get that drum roll and get into today's question. All right, guys, so today's question is, boom.
Can your target audience be everyone?
I love this.
I really love this question as well. I'm just going to start off by saying, because I'm like chomping at the bit here, but I'm just going to start off by saying this was definitely me. When I started, so as many of you know, like Winston and I have multiple businesses, and the business that we found each other in was through network marketing. And so that was my first dip into the business world. And I have to tell you, I went into that thinking everyone's my target audience. Like what I have, right, can service everyone. Like this is for everyone. And, not that it couldn't, like literally and truly, yes, it could help everyone. Yes. However, what I started to recognize is that the people that I wanted to share this with, like, I don't know, it wasn't necessarily everyone. Like, you know what, when you're first out there, you're just hungry, right? You just kind of want to make money. I don't care what business you're in, to be quite honest. You're just out there, you're just trying to make money. And so you're like, you know, a hunter's got to eat. You're out there like hunting for food. You're going to kill anything that moves or walks, right? Anybody that's like 2 feet away from you, you're trying to like get them to understand what your product or service is. And I completely respect that and understand that type of like, let's call it a hustle, if you will. And that's when I think you're in that mode set of like, this is for everybody. I can help everybody. Whoever's around me, I can help you, even if I have to like force it down your throat. And I think as time progressed and you become more seasoned or matured, I think you start to realize like, I actually don't want to help everyone. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, like many of you know that like Winston and I, one of the businesses that we're in, previously, one of the companies that we were in previously had a lot to do with travel. And so like, I just thought about it and I was like, actually, I don't want everybody's like skeezy Uncle Joe to come with us on a vacation. Like,
oh, not Uncle Joe.
no,
Uncle
like,
Joe.
I actually don't want like
Oh,
everybody to
no.
do this, right? And it became clear, right, as you become more seasoned and mature, that maybe this isn't necessarily for everyone. And I didn't have the words to call it a target market or audience. I will say that I have that verbiage now, but like if anyone else can relate to this, please put a comment in the comment box. But like it's just this like weird shift where you're just like, and maybe it's not like, obviously I gave an example of vacation, but like maybe it's just like you're just like, I don't really want to work with this person, or like it's not worth it to help this person because that means I'm going to have to continue to communicate with them on a daily basis or like more consistent basis, and like it just, I don't really know if I want to put my time and energy towards that. And so it's just something that happens over time. And I think it's totally normal if you go in thinking, you know, like everyone. I think it's totally normal.
I love this. I love so far what you shared. And I'll take this, or I'll guess I'll attack this from two different angles as well. One for me is in a general marketplace. I think that this is a great question because the obvious answer would be no. Depending on what your marketing or whatever your product is, you realize that it may be, let's say the demographic is for females, older, young, you know, we can get very specific there. But to Janelle's point, I do think when you started a business that's not maybe your product design, so you weren't there when they were having this conversation, you do now get into this and you're out here going, you got skin, right? Like you
have electricity.
Yeah, right. Like you use, you know, your mom must use this, your sister. So
right.
That idea of whatever it is that I market, everyone needs. I think that's a key word that Janelle brought up. Everyone needs is certainly the mistake or the ideology we move around with. And then quickly after you get into it and you talk to a couple people, if you are, because I remember, just to go back to the travel thing, I remember one of the first people who told me, oh, I don't travel. Like I looked at this guy and called him a liar straight to his face. Like I was like, you mean you? And then this is where a lack of training comes in. You mean you can't afford to travel? My man was like, wait, why are you insulting me? It's like, oh, so it's like you do get in there, and at first you are in like this. I just want everyone to have the gift of whatever my product or service can provide, and then you realize that everyone isn't looking for that, and that's where if you get into the general marketplace, things like McDonald's compared to like a Burger King, guys, people just have certain preferences. You don't need to know what we. I think it'll save you, like a Jim Rohn was saying. That's not a class I would sign up for. Getting involved with why people want what they want isn't what you are here to try and figure out. There are people who do go about figuring those things out. But I want to say from where we stand, that's usually not what we need to be concerned with. And I love when Janelle brought up, in our industry, there are two things for sure that I know you want to pay attention to. If it's just a customer, I'm obviously probably think you probably be a little bit looser in who you don't. It doesn't maybe matter as much who you're marketing to or who you're selling to. But guys, when it comes time for that other side of building a business, I think this is a key thing that you should be focused on in terms of who is your target audience to build a business with. And that's something that I don't think a lot of us consider. And doing it the wrong way can cause you a lot of headaches and heartache. I just to share a quick story. I remember there was a young lady that was in our organization, and she kept bringing men to the prospect events where we would share the idea. And yet, even though these gentlemen would sign up quickly after when I followed up, she'd always say that they got out of doing either the product or even the business with her. And after just a little bit of conversation, he realized that the way she was going about marketing the service was the idea of, you can spend more time with me if you come to these events and or decide to join up and partner up with me. And again, you're obviously in business for yourself, so you can do whatever you want. But we've just found that, especially even with her as an example, she did not have a long-term success with the team being built on that type of marketing. You know, again, these guys are getting involved thinking it's one thing and it's not. You know, you want to lead with your product. You want to lead with the company, the service that it provides, all those other things we've talked about in other episodes. and not with yourself maybe. And again, I'm not to say that, because obviously people are joining up to partner up with you or Janelle or whoever, right? But you want to lead with your strengths in the business, and I would say, and not within your own maybe personal life, or whatever the term there would be.
So I agree to that. And can definitely relate to that. Like some dudes thinking like, oh, is this like this means like something's gonna happen? For me, I
We could
never
tell you
felt
guys stories about, oh, it's a hotel event, sure,
right.
yeah, you know.
I never felt comfortable with that. So, so like I really probably didn't lean into that as much as maybe some of my colleagues or counterparts would. Um, and this, so it's interesting. So I'm thinking like, okay, so in general, like both Winston and I have gone through this process, and I think like the next step, I mean, and I think in your thinking needs to be like, okay, well then who would my target audience be? Like, how do you figure that out? And I just want to bring up two of our previous guests before, and we'll probably put them at the end so that way you guys can go watch them. But one of them is Visionary Ant. I love just saying that because it's so funny because I really only know him as Anthony. So so saying his name, his handle on Instagram is fun for me. But yeah, so Anthony came on and he's a financial planner by profession, but he hires people to work with him. And the whole episode was like, how do you know like who to hire to like work with you? And to me, a lot of the advice that he gave, so definitely go check out that episode, no matter what area of business you're in, you should definitely check out that episode. So whether it's network marketing or some other business model, yeah, the idea that like there's like a screening process and like how you figure out like what your strengths are and what other strengths are you looking for in order to like bring that into your organization. I think it was huge. He really pointed out some really key questions, some things to look for. So key questions to ask of yourself, right? And then on the flip side, like what are the things then you should then go out and look for, and how and what that process looks like. I thought was really, really keen and really, really important. And then the other one is with our episode with Alex Mitchell. Alex and Ellen. And Alex is a business coach. And what she went over was really, really great because she did it with me and Winston, essentially. I think more Winston than me even. But she like talks about like, well, what is your service? And then who is your target audience? And she went through like a list of questions to kind of like really narrow it down. So if you need help, like if you need people to help jog your like inspiration, definitely go back to those two videos to get you started. And I recently have been a part of like a social media like camp, right, to how to monetize your social media. And there's a lot of talk about the target audience. And I would say one of the most, this is going to sound really crazy. And so if you can relate to this, please put it in the chat. But I'm going to be really transparent. It was mind blowing to me that one of the biggest like ideas of advice for how to choose your target audience was, well, who are you? Because essentially you are your target audience. That blew me away because I was like, yeah, who am I? Like, what is my demographic? What do I like? Do I like vacations on the beach or in the mountains? Like, what are like, who like all of a sudden you start to like narrow this down. Would I prefer to be in like a city or the countryside? Like all of these things, right? All became so interesting to me. And I was so unused to thinking about narrowing it down to such a specific thing that I am looking basically for someone like myself. It was so uncomfortable, I think, even thinking that way. Because again, we're all used to this whole idea, like, well, we're hunters, we got to eat. So everybody needs. And so the idea of a target audience, I had started to play around with the idea and it got more narrow for sure. But this idea really just kind of took me back. Like I mean, like I remember having conversations with Winston, like, man, like, but me, like specifically me, and what makes me unique, and trying to identify that so that way I can identify that in others. It was really, really interesting. So again, just another takeaway, if you will, to help you guys as you are starting to think about this for yourselves.
No, I definitely remember even that conversation, and we will make sure you guys get that at the end. If you go back and check out this video, Alex really did get into certain things that, as far as I thought I understood my marketing or how I should be marketing, who I should be having conversations with. But then after she went through these series of questions, and truly shout out to her, guys, you can get a free consultation with her. So I'll definitely make sure that you go check that episode out so you can get her information. She broke some things down even after just my personal business. She got on the call with Janelle and I, talked about what we should be looking for in our network marketing business, which was a big deal. And this was literally a couple minutes, but just key questions that helped us realize that it would even help us, even within our company, focus on certain product offerings as opposed to the entire catalog, which was one of those things where we, in transitioning, we moved from maybe one company that offers maybe a I would say limited service, but just one type of service, and you step into one that maybe offers more. It can becoming completely overwhelming. I know we had teams that went through that. People are just like, wait, what do I do next? And the way she was able to break this down and say, stay with the things that you love, stay with the things, to Janelle's point, that are more about you, that you can see yourself naturally having conversations about and sharing. And we won't even take anything away from what Alex says. Definitely reach out to her. But I completely agree. It's also one of those things where when you do think everyone, I think, is your audience, it can really be overwhelming. You probably end up doing nothing because it's like, well, how do I strike up a conversation with everyone about what it is that I do? You know what I mean? Or having that, I remember we used to walk around like, how come we don't see people with like a sign on their face that said need a vacation or need or whatever the case may be. And the reality it is rare that you're bumping into people who are openly having conversations. We have had that happen. We've had people, oh man, I can't wait to get away. And then you just jump right in and insert. But when your service isn't that, or your product isn't something that's maybe talked about as often, I do think it matters knowing who your audience is, because then you can at least maybe cater some of your approach towards people a certain way. If it's health and fitness, you lead with that. I think it's a lot easier if you're in an environment where people like, for health and that, I'd say it depends on now where you go to hunt. Like Janelle said, it's probably a lot easier to talk to somebody about shakes and greens in a gym than at a bar. All right. Not that at the bar we can be talking, oh man, this alcohol is killing us. Man, it'd be great to have some shake and greens right now. But obviously it's a lot easier probably for me to talk to a person in the gym, because I have a sense that they are more concerned in this setting with their health, or at an airport or in some other travel fund. Oh, where are you heading? Oh man, I'm heading on to my third trip to wherever. So maybe even just in understanding that, it's a lot easier to approach people based on where you decide that you want to hunt. Or if you're looking to build a huge network, you're going to want to have to continuously, one of the things we're taught, you want to continuously go out, guys, and network with people. You never want to see the end or bottom of your list. You constantly want to be replenishing that, so you have people in your funnel. Because if you're thinking long term, like you should be in this business, again, it's a career, right? We're thinking, who can I meet now that 4 years from now I can be talking to about my business or enrolling or bringing in, because we've built a relationship starting now, as opposed to thinking, man, I only have 138 contacts, or whatever the case may be. You probably know a lot more people, and if you don't, you can literally start building that now. If you start focusing on things like this, like who do I want? And that's another thing I remember. I think she asked us, right? Like, who do we want to be the people that we help with our business? Because again, what we do, it's like, which demographic of people do you think would be best served with earning a couple extra $100 a month, thousands, whatever, on the business side? Who can we help with this? Who are the people who we can go out and help with this? I remember for a period of time we were big on nurses, because we recognized, these women and men are working incredibly hard. And I mean, I think the pandemic highlighted a lot of what's going on there. Teachers as well. These are people who are doing a lot, putting their lives on the line, and just may not be going home with their fair share. And that may be an audience that you can reach out to for again, not that your product or service can't help them, but maybe the business may be something you're open to discussing with them because of that mindset. So I think I obviously you could tell I lean more into the business stuff, but yes.
Well, and
again, it all applies.
I was gonna say, it's like it's good for everybody. The message is clear, I think, from both of us, that we're like, this is a process, right? Like it's It's
it
so
matters.
funny. I'm looking at a quote. So we have a quote from one of our former guests. The process is for me. The results of the process are for everyone else.
Amen.
Shout
Say
out to
that.
Michael
Michael
Finkley.
Finkley.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Finkley experience.
Because yeah, that I was just thinking about. I was like, man, even to get to the place where you recognize that your target audience is not everybody, like that is a process, right? And just like he said, the results are gonna affect everyone, but to get to that place. And so I'm here to say, like, don't be too hard on yourself if you're still
Seriously.
if you're still in the mode like I gotta eat. So, you know, boom, 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 whatever. Whoever's like within 5 feet of me. Totally get that and respect that mindset.
Well,
And then
can
we
I
have
add
the
something
people
there?
who, oh, I was gonna say, well, really quickly,
Go, go, go,
and
go,
then you have
go,
the
go.
people who are farmers, which is exactly what Winston said, in that like you are planting seeds for something, you know,
Bigger harvest.
yeah, well, not just a bigger purpose, but like the idea that maybe years from now, they might have a need for your service, your products, and or being a business partner with you, right? And growing the business with you. I think that's really key. Now, of course, there's also the mindset that you can do both. You can be both in hunting mode and in uh,
Planting
gardening
mode as
mode.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plant mode. Exactly. You can do that at the same time. And what happens? Okay, so what that looks like for those of you like, when does that happen? So what happens with that is exactly what Winston said. If you're continuously networking, you're growing your network. You're always having people who are like what we would call like in the funnel. So they're at like the bottom part of the funnel where they're like you're ready to like be in hunter mode with them and like really just tell them what's going on. And so if you just keep that pipeline going, right, you're always going to have people who you're ready to talk to them right now about, again, your product or service, or maybe working with you in building your business. And so that's what it looks like when you have both. So what it looks like when, again, really to be really clear, when you have both is because you've been planting for a significant amount of time that people are now starting to bear fruit, and it's time for you to you know, reap the harvest.
Actually, sure. Yeah. And just to be clear for myself, it's definitely not like we're saying you can't be boom boom like Janelle saying just out there going after it. Because one of the most powerful things I know we were taught in regards to that is who do you know? You know, if that person's not, you know, you shot your shot at them, they're not for whatever it is that you're doing on either side. You know, ask them a simple question before you let them walk away. Who do you know? I know a lot of people that have built massive teams on referrals. They talk about how powerful referrals are. They talk about, you know, like building through other people and realizing that it wasn't that initial person that you may be thinking about that you got into your business. It was 7 connections later, 6 or 8 people later after they went through who do you know, who do you know, who do you know. And then you'll find that person that is your target audience, you know. So you can definitely apply that one as well, like that whole idea of who do you know? Who do you know? Hey, you're not interested in what it is that I do? And now if you have a sense of what you're looking for, you can go, who do you know who's trying to blank, blah, blank? Right. Who do you know who wants blank, blank, blank? Who do you know who needs, you know, blah, blah, blah? And those things now can help that person go, oh, okay. And for, you know, some bonus training, the person usually in instances where they are not interested in what we're doing, in some instances, is because they don't believe that they can do this. And by even asking them what they or who do they know, you can now have them sitting there in their head going, well, I know Janelle, I know Winston, I do know Frank, and so on. Oh, I do know a couple people. And if they see that enthusiasm from you with, I'm going to reach out to Frank, Janelle, Winston, and so on, all of a sudden, again, in their mind is, oh, that's all we're doing? Because many people, guys, don't understand when you're like, we're going to go out and build a team, a sales force. They've never done any of these things before. We had never done any of these things before. Even though I'd been in sales, I knew it from a hiring perspective. I post an ad. You come in for an interview. It's very different when I'm out in the street trying to find people to interview to partner up with me. That's a completely different dynamic. So just the idea of knowing, again, who you're looking for can save you a lot of time. But I would say just adding that extra, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know when you're out there talking to people can be huge to getting you to your target audience if you're willing to go through a couple of people who aren't necessarily open. And one of the things I also wanted to add was, I think just in terms of I just want to say the value that comes from it, because I just know that there were so many times and so many frustrating moments where not recognizing someone saying no to this was not like a personal indictment of you. And I just don't think I understood that earlier on. And I think to a lot of the points Janelle made earlier, it's like if you knew who you were looking for, you would allow a lot of people who you may still show when they just don't go for it. It'll just probably roll off your back a lot easier if you had just a different way of looking at it. I know that for me, for sure, there are a lot of emotional. Oh, that's where I was going to lead with it. Depending on your personality, I tend to lead with like an introverted attitude towards things. So it's a lot easier for me to go, I'm looking for quantity or quality, excuse me, over quantity, because I know it's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to go out there and talk to people in general. So if I can at least in my mind create some type of filter system that's like, well, you are really looking for this. It may just again motivate you to get out there and actively look for what you're looking for, and not just be out there trying to just talk to any and everyone. Yeah,
I think that's super helpful. As we've learned from, again, no matter the business type, your mindset has such a huge part, to play into this. What you've been exposed to, where you are right now in life, like that's all going to impact your mindset and frame like how you go about this. It's really, really important.
That is a big deal too. One of the last things, I don't know if it's a quote, but if someone was talking about looking down the bread aisle and seeing how many types of breads there are, guys, if that doesn't let you know how many different, because I know there are people who say things. There's a guy, I got to get this guy's name on Instagram, who talked about, if you have somebody around you saying the marketplace is saturated, then you got to realize that they're only talking about the bottom, because the top of the marketplace is not saturated at all. And I completely believe that. Like if you look at certain car companies, guys, there are certain car companies, they make 10, 12 of their cars a year. They are the top of the marketplace. Right. They're not concerned about, the things that the other percentage is worried about. They know that what they are marketing, it's like, that's how we got to kind of go out there. What you are offering is the top of the marketplace. So it doesn't matter who else is offering similar service or similar product out. Yours is that top of the line. You know what I mean? Oh, that's a good way to close it out. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to thank everybody who came and listened to what we had to say. Please, please, please put your comments in the comment below. If you're watching this on the replay and not live, go ahead and put your comments, your questions. You know what I'm really curious about? I was going to ask this before the timer went off. I'm really curious. Anyone who's watching this right now, what are the things that you do when you're looking to market either for your product or service, or if you're doing network marketing, how do you start to market looking for like business partners? I would love to see in the comments, like, what are you guys doing? What are the things that you're doing? Are you going out there looking for everyone? Where are you right now? I just want to hear from people. Or are you in planter mode, right? And you're just planting a bunch of seeds. Are you being extremely precise in who you're looking for? Or are you just open to like everyone? Where is everybody? Just let us know in the chat. We answer all the comments. Even if they're on the replays, we look out for them. We love them. We want to continue to engage with you guys and continue the conversation.
Absolutely. And again, guys, remember, if you're first time or if you've just not done it yet, make sure you click that subscribe button, guys, so you guys will be notified. We will definitely see you guys next Wednesday. Exciting, exciting times ahead, guys. Have an amazing day. And
don't forget to check out these videos here
that you will see. Oh, there she goes. Actually, it's going to be point in the middle.
Point in the middle. Okay, the middle. The middle.
Oh, you're on the other side. Yeah. You're still twisted around. You got to go this way now. Janelle mirrored. No, this is my middle. Where is yours?
My middle is this way.
No, that's the other one. See, this is what happens when you mirror everything. Am I pointing the other way?
You're pointing away from me.
Oh, okay. This is what happens when you mirror. All right. That was hilarious.
As always, remember, you deserve the good life.
Say that. Have a great week, you guys.